Again, my name is Dan Mourlam, as Kevin said, and I'm excited to be here on behalf of the Vermillion Public School Foundation to talk about kind of what we do and kind of why we do it and where we hope to go as we go forward. So if you're not familiar with the foundation, we've been around since 2006. And really the focus of what we do is to support opportunities for learners to confidently succeed in a diverse world and to coordinate collaborative efforts that fund educational experiences or experience priorities. So that's kind of our mission and vision. And as we look at what we're doing and why we're doing it, a lot of it comes from, there's really this kind of fun problem, I guess, that's going on in the Vermillion schools. We have increasing enrollment, which I think is a good thing for the school to have, but it also presents unique challenges, and it provides opportunities for organizations like the foundation to come in and support some of the needs that might be beyond what the school can provide. Another kind of challenge that we try to address is the needs that students and members of our community have related to the school due to poverty. So as we look at the Vermillion community and really Clay County as a whole, the U.S. Census Bureau kind of estimates that we're around 16.8% of the population living at or below the poverty line, which creates some unique challenges. And as we look statewide, that's actually a bit higher than the state percentage, which is 12.3%. So a lot of the work that we do on the foundation is ensuring that the students have their basic well-being needs met so they can fully engage in learning in school and extracurriculars and those kinds of things. So to do that, we are a fundraising organization. We're a nonprofit and have the federal nonprofit status, and we do a lot of fundraising. We do some grant writing, and as a result of all the donations and things we receive, we have a lot of funds that help support the work that we do. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of some of those funds, the one that we have been using a lot really since COVID happened is we created it right before COVID, but it's our Angel Fund. And that's the one that's used to support student basic well-being needs. This was really used this past year with meal assistance. That was a great need within the Vermillion schools. With the kind of soaring inflation that we've had, some families have received increases to their salaries and wages and things like that. But the federal government hadn't updated their income guidelines. So we have families that kind of were no longer eligible for federal assistance, but still had great need in providing meals for their children during the school day. So that was a huge part of what we provided last year. And I think all told, this foundation in the spring semester spent around $7,000 on supporting student meals at school. So it's certainly a great need, but I think the good news for this year is that the federal government has revised those income guidelines and kind of bumped them up a little bit, so more families are now eligible than in the past. But the Angel Fund supports other things outside of meals. It could be clothing, winter coats, hats, gloves, snow pants, boots, those kind of things for kids in the wintertime. Definitely we've purchased shoes for kids in the past for athletics and things like that. Not school uniforms, but like uniforms for their sport if it's something that's a cost to them and not provided by the school. It could be things like travel assistance, so maybe a gas card to Casey's or something like that, so they can a high school student can fill up their car with gas on the way to school, that kind of thing. It also kind of focuses on providing hygiene products for students. That's kind of a new thing that we have gotten into over the last year or so. So deodorant, soap, shampoo, that kind of stuff, feminine hygiene products. And through a grant that we recently got, we are putting in hygiene corners in the middle school and the high school so students have the access to those products when they need them. So additional funds that we have a fund that supports fine arts. We have a fund that supports the libraries in our schools. We also have several different endowments for senior scholarships. So as our high school seniors are graduating, getting ready to go to college or technical school, they have, a little bit less that they have to be responsible for their education, which I think helps with the cost of higher education today. We also do scholarships for middle schoolers to go to various camps during the summertime, whether that's on campus here or elsewhere. And then a newer program that we have, it's in its fourth year, I think now, it's the Teacher Professional Development program that we have. We provide grants to teachers in the district if they want to do some kind of professional development. It could be as simple as, say the third grade team wants to get together and collaborate in the summer. We pay for their days during the summer to work together. Or it could be we're going to bring in an expert and talk about this new maybe math curriculum or reading curriculum or certain strategies that they can use in the classroom classroom. Or it could be something a little more like going to a national conference. So we try to support those kind of activities. We do that in the spring, and then the teachers have the next year to do those activities. And what's been kind of fun with this program is that it's grown. As the teachers become more aware of it over time, more and more have been applying, which is both a good thing, taking advantage of the resources that we have, but then this last year, for the first time, we've had more requests than we could actually fill. So both kind of a good and a bad thing there. Other things we do, student experiential learning, so supporting field trips and cultural experiences, like we had a Native American drum group come in and perform for the students in the school this past school year. We've had, I think, the art classes go out to different, like I think it was like a pottery place, and learn how they make pottery at like an actual business, that kind of thing. And then we engage in just a lot of fundraising, and what we've gotten into over the last couple years is more grant writing, which has been pretty successful for us. We wrote a grant this past year and got a bunch of equipment. I think we got about $165,000 from a private foundation to support a variety of things, including student well-being, especially around meal assistance. We were able to purchase some heavy equipment simulators for the school district, so students in the career and technical education classes could learn how to actually drive a forklift or a skid steer, which kind of sets them up for when they go to college to go to like a technical school or something like that, gets them kind of a step ahead then in their education. Also helped with getting Caged Creation started, which is kind of a new class for high school students. It's like an entrepreneurship class where they're running a business, but also kind of merged with graphic arts where they're designing t-shirts and things like that. So we help get like the, I don't know, it's called like the screen printing machines and printing presses and things like that for them, so they can actually make t-shirts. And I was talking with Mrs. Rotary, who teaches that class, and she was talking about how they were going to make some t-shirts, and they had just a super great conversation about, well, what kind of shirts do we buy? Do we buy like super nice t-shirts that cost a little more? Do we buy more affordable t-shirts that we can sell and have a greater profit? And they engaged in a ton of great conversations around that. So it's like you're seeing the learning actually happening when they're doing it, which is exactly the kind of thing that we like to see. Other things we've done is supported the STREAM lab at Jolly Elementary School, and really looking forward as that new elementary school gets built. We're excited about that. But we're going to have a lot of grades and trying to share one space where they can do some of these kind of STEM activities, so it's science, technology, engineering, and math. So getting some mobile carts that they could take the equipment out to the classroom so more students get exposed to those technologies and experiences. You want to talk for a little bit?
And you know who I am, but I got to join the board earlier this year, and I'm now vice president and learning from Dan about everything the foundation does. But we also have some other board members here. Chuck and Melissa are both members of the board. Susan used to be a member of the board. Am I missing anyone? I don't think so. So it's, oh, were you Dan? Oh, well, Dan was too. How about that? But it shows kind of the cross-pollination, if you will, of members in the community working with different groups and being able to support each other, which takes us to our major fundraising project for the next 12 months. And what we want to do is work with various organizations in the community and then leverage that for nationwide grants to help provide accessible playground equipment at the new elementary school. This is something that is missing in the community, and it is also, I just killed it, also expensive. And so we are setting a goal over the next year of about $150,000. And that will help to pay for half of the surface under the playground to help make it accessible, and 4 pieces of accessible playground equipment. And it's something that we as the community will benefit from for a long time. We were talking to Dr. Alvey, and I think he said that the playground equipment usually lasts for about 25 years. And so we can think about the thousands of kids who will pass through that playground and use it, not just during the school year, but all around the year. And especially if it turns out the way certainly Dr. Alvey and the school board are working to ensure that it does. And so we want to help support that particular mission. We want to invite you to, since it's the first home football game of the season, our annual tailgate, which will be by the tennis courts at the Dakota Dome on Friday evening. And it will be from 5 until 7 p.m. And there's going to be chili provided. There will be games for the kids. Our new Vermillion USD Rotaract is going to be helping to support that and hopefully wrangle the kids, and taking free will donations. And this is going to, again, be to support the acquiring of the accessible playground equipment. There we go. Have to check. We're also working closely with Rotary. And Vermillion Rotary has applied for a district grant to help assist with this project. And so hopefully we'll hear in a few weeks. We will be applying on behalf of the Vermillion Public School Foundation, from the Vermillion Community Area Foundation, the Dakota Hospital Foundation. And so this gives us a big goal, but also a huge outcome when this is all over. And we're looking forward to actually seeing the equipment. And there might be an opportunity for getting your hands dirty, figuratively, having a service opportunity to help make sure that everything is ready come August 15th next year, so that the kids will be able to jump in and play on that playground and not step in mud and things like that. So it's going to be an opportunity not only for us to just raise money, but also to get involved as Rotary, as the Vermillion Public School Foundation, and as members of the community. And so we really hope that you can come join us for the tailgate this Friday evening. We have checked. The weather is no longer supposed to be, the temperature is no longer supposed to be 111 degrees. So chili will be somewhat more appropriate. We ran out of gazpacho, the cold soup. So hopefully you can come join us and engage with the event as well. Making sure I haven't skipped over anything. Is there anything I've skipped over? Anything that I've missed?
I don't think so.
So at this time, I mean, it's a great opportunity to engage with you all. Do you have questions about the Vermillion Public School Foundation and what you can do to help? Deb.
So, okay, with the form that's on here,
yes.
The playground equipment is not listed?
Just write that on there.
Okay.
And so on your table is an information sheet about the Public Schools Foundation and a donation sheet. And, we're not asking for thousands of dollars from anyone except, I don't know, Dan. But, any little bit helps. And if you want to earmark it for the playground equipment, that would be great. If you want to just go ahead and sign up for a small monthly donation, or like Dan, a huge annual donation, then we fully encourage you. So please feel free to do that. Anna.
Could you talk a little bit more about what specific equipment, I can assume a swing.
Yep.
What will be the other?
The first two pieces of equipment that we want to get are an accessible swing and accessible slide. An accessible swing is right around $10,000. An accessible slide is right around $12,500. Now, I'm no math whiz, but right there is over $22,000 for two pieces of equipment. So if we can raise enough, if we can raise $50,000 for equipment, we get to acquire 4 pieces of equipment that can be used year-round for students who have accessibility issues. And that's something that is lacking now. The surface that goes under the playground equipment, you can always use wood chips and then track them into school, bring them home with you in your pockets, and they tend to be not accessible. And so the surface that Dr. Alvey and the school board are looking at is a poured rubber surface, which is soft so that when somebody like me falls backwards out of the swing, you can bounce right back up. We did not have that in Stewart. So I did not bounce right back up. So, and it's accessible for people who are in wheelchairs or have other mobility issues, and I think this is, incredible. And so that's how much a piece of equipment costs, and then the amount that we are raising for the undersurface would pay for approximately half of the undersurface. And we had a great conversation with Dr. Alvey. I mean, if push comes to shove, I suppose you can do it in stages, but we would like to have everything prepared for when the students arrive in less than a year. So, Joe.
How much is the grant you've applied to Rotary for? Is that a matching grant?
We applied for $5,000 because that was their max. And our hope is to apply for that again next year so that we can get $10,000 from Rotary. And there's an expectation that it will be matched in some way, and between what hopefully we can convince Rotary Vermillion to donate, or all of you or other groups in town, we will easily match that. And then also there's an opportunity for sweat equity, and that is just kind of making sure everything is clean and ready to go. We can go out and work on that. What we want to do is bring all of these, commitments from the Vermillion Public School Foundation, hopefully Rotary, District 5610, other foundations, and then leverage that for even larger national grants. So is it Wellmark who has?
Yeah, Wellmark's the one that we're looking at, and they have a grant project for playgrounds that goes up to $100,000, but it's a dollar-for-dollar match. So if we can raise the money and work with the school and everything, we could hopefully apply for the full 100,000 as what we're hopeful to do.
And so by bringing everybody together, all our organizations, all our community members, we can show how committed we are, convince District Rotary, convince Wellmark, and we're also looking at a couple of other grants and are including parents who have children who have accessibility issues so that they can help work with us and guide us as well. Yeah. Susan.
Well, I just wanted to say, when the foundation started, one of the things that we were faced with was, are we going to support students primarily to leave Vermillion? In other words, provide scholarships for them to go on to secondary, post-secondary education? Or are we going to focus on providing opportunities for our students while they're in the system? And we'll never say we don't want money for scholarships, but our focus, as you mentioned, was really to support the students while they're in the school district. Two stories about some contributions. The class of 1966 has raised, I believe it's now over $56,000. It's over 50, I know. And they have chosen to provide scholarships for students leaving. I think in great part that was because that's what they thought, when they were talking. But we are hopefully going to ask the various classes as they come back for reunions to provide a support. And I think the playground equipment would be a wonderful project. The other thing I was going to say is, just so it's interesting, do people ever call? When I was on the board, I got a call from someone who no longer lives in Vermillion, but said, we made our money in Vermillion, I want to give back. And so it is because of their gift that we're able to give $10,000 a year for the teacher development. And if that goes well, and it has, this person has committed to giving us, endowing that at that level. So that's about $250,000. And you can't imagine what that means to the teachers. It's an amazing opportunity. A lot of schools don't give their teachers. So, and then that helps the students. And it also, from a purely business standpoint, having a strong school system really is helpful when recruiting people to move to Vermillion, because one of the first questions they ask is, what are your schools like?
Absolutely.
So it's really behooves all of us to be supportive of the public schools. And, you know, we have to take all of our students. So we have a lot of students that have special needs. We can't say, no, you can't come because we can't handle. We have to take these students. So it's, you know, the foundation, I think, does great work, and thank you guys for what you're doing, and Melissa and everybody who's involved.
Chuck, you have.
I was going to say, we talked a lot about money. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the numbers of students and the kind of students who are being impacted by the programs, like the Angel Fund and the food.
Right, so I want to say just the teenager meal assistance alone, we impacted like around like 300 and some students, I think it was. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it was at least that many. But like experiential learning, I think we had over 800 students in the district that we were impacting this past year. So we're really touching students at all levels. It's not just elementary or just middle school or high school. We try to do things at all different levels so that we're really impacting everybody in any way that we can, and it may be through the music programs or the art program or CTE or something like that, or STEM. It's really comprehensive, I guess. We're really getting to a lot of students. Like we sent all the kindergarten students to the pumpkin patch over in Yankton this past year, and I imagine we'll probably do it again. That seems to be a hit with that age group, to go see kind of the life cycle of plants and how things change over time and the seasons. And so it's definitely a lot of students throughout the district we try to impact through the work that we do.
And some of it is just kind of quiet behind the scenes. So for example, all the students need headphones for school because of working on computers. Well, sometimes one set of headphones is all a student can afford during the year or over a lifetime at school. What happens if they break? So we've talked about helping to giving teachers just some new sets of headphones that they can keep, that they need to give to students who have that need. Also, we've talked about backpacks, where students sometimes, you know, their backpacks fall apart and they can't get new ones. So our teacher's going to be able to have just a backpack or two in the closet that they can give. And I can say that this is something that the new Rotaract at USD is going to be working on, and that is working with various organizations in the community who help to provide backpacks, making sure that they are all collected and all where they need somebody to kind of do the legwork and get them to the schools. So it just is a great example of groups working together in Vermillion.
One more thing I'd add as well is we actually have a part-time executive director. Her name's Mary Giffen, and she is in the administrative offices, but goes out to all the schools and works with whether it's a school nurse or teachers. So she's kind of our presence, our most of the week presence in the district, so that we're able to, you know, see what the needs are. And then at our monthly meetings, we'll have, you know, Dr. Alvey, a school board member, join us, or one of the principals or teachers from the district, and they are able to kind of give us insights on, hey, this is what's going on, this is where we need support right now, and then we try to find creative ways to meet those needs.
And we're always looking for someone who is interested in serving on the board and being active. So if somebody here is interested in serving on the board, come see us. If you have an idea of someone who might want to serve on the board, let us know. We're happy to approach them. We're always looking for people. We have a great board. I'm really excited to work with them. And it's, the more you are in Rotary, the more you learn about what Vermillion Rotary and Rotary International does. And it's the same way with the Vermillion Public School Foundation. The more time I spend there, the more I realize what they do. And it's exciting to be part of that. So if you want to volunteer.
How often do you meet?
Once a month.
Yeah.
More with our subcommittees that we have. Like we have a grants committee and a finance committee, some of those things. And
Evening?
yeah, like 5:30 usually.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Meetings are an hour. So it's, in that terms of like monthly regular commitments, it's pretty minimal, but then we do outreach activities and things like that.
Any other questions? All right, so don't forget, the information sheet and that little donation sheet on your table. Please feel free to take it home. Dan, we filled yours out for you, so don't worry about it. And thank you, Dan, for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.